You step into your backyard as the day begins to slow. The path in front of you glows softly, like fireflies resting inside glass. A few steps away, tiny houses sit quietly near the soil, waiting for children who believe in small worlds. Plants grow under a dome of light, protected, patient, alive. Nothing feels rushed. Nothing feels expensive. And then you realize, every single thing you're looking at was once just a plastic bottle you almost threw away. Today, I want to show you how ordinary bottles can gently transform a backyard. Not into something flashy, but into a place that feels calm, warm, and deeply human. Welcome back to Backyard Fortune, a quiet corner where we turn everyday scraps into warm, meaningful garden spaces for real families. In today's video, we're taking a full garden walkthrough, exploring recycled bottle ideas that become paths, planters, lights, borders, and small moments of peace. These ideas are DIY-friendly, low-budget, and designed for small backyards. Inspired by European cottage gardens, but built with what you already have. If you enjoy calm, practical garden ideas like this, please consider subscribing. This is part of an ongoing Backyard Fortune series. And if even one idea speaks to you, share this video on WhatsApp or Facebook and tell another garden lover about it. For everyone who watches, shares, and supports this journey, I truly wish you a long, healthy life, and a backyard full of green blessings. One, Firefly Glow Bottle Lantern Path. Imagine stepping into your garden just as the day begins to soften. The sun lowers itself quietly, and the air feels slower, gentler, almost as if the world is taking a deep breath. Along the path, small points of light begin to glow. Not bright, not loud, just enough to guide your steps forward. These lanterns are not made of glass or metal polished by factories. They are shaped from simple plastic bottles, once forgotten, now standing patiently along the soil. Each one holds a warm light inside, like a resting firefly, casting soft reflections onto stone and leaf alike. As you walk, the ground beneath your feet feels steady and calm. Lavender brushes the edge of the path, releasing a familiar scent that lingers in memory. Shadows stretch and dance gently, changing with every movement of the leaves above. Nothing here rushes you. Nothing demands attention. The light exists only to accompany you. There is a quiet comfort in knowing that beauty can come from what we already have. That something discarded can return as guidance, not just illumination. This glowing path does more than light the way. It slows the heart, invites reflection, and reminds us that evenings are meant to be felt, not hurried through. And as the path curves gently ahead, another corner of the garden begins to reveal itself, waiting quietly for its own story to unfold. Two, Fairy Mushroom Bottle Houses, Kids Corner. Imagine kneeling down in a quiet corner of the garden, where the soil is soft and the air carries the faint scent of lavender. From this low, childlike point of view, a small world begins to reveal itself. Tiny houses rise gently from the earth, shaped like mushrooms, standing patiently among moss and leaves. These little homes are made from recycled bottles, carefully painted by hand. The brush strokes are not perfect, and that is what makes them feel alive. Each curve, holds the warmth of time spent together, of afternoons where hands were busy, laughter was close, and imagination had room to grow. To a child, this corner becomes a place of stories. A place where invisible visitors might arrive at dusk, where secrets are whispered to the soil, and where the garden feels like a companion rather than a space. To an adult, it becomes something quieter, a reminder that beauty doesn't need to be large or expensive to matter. The moss at their base softens the ground, blending these small houses into the landscape as if they have always belonged there. Nothing here tries to impress. Everything simply invites. And as the eye lifts from this miniature village, the garden seems to open itself a little wider, ready to show how care and patience can also help new life grow, just a few steps away. Three, Bottle Dome Nursery Greenhouse. Imagine the early hours of the morning, when the garden still feels untouched and the air is cool against your skin. In a quiet corner, something gentle begins to take shape. A small dome rises from the soil, clear and light, holding warmth like a careful breath. This nursery is built from recycled bottles, curved together into a simple shelter. Inside, young plants lean slowly toward the light, their leaves thin and hopeful. The sun passes through the clear surfaces, softened and scattered, creating a calm glow that feels protective rather than harsh. Drops of moisture cling to the inside, proof that life is quietly gathering strength. There is a patience in this space. Terracotta pots rest nearby, soil waiting to be touched, seeds waiting for their moment. Nothing here rushes the process. Growth is allowed to happen at its own pace, guided by light, warmth, and care. What once held water or tea now holds possibility. These bottles do not try to become invisible. Instead, they remind us that beginnings are often humble, shaped by what is already around us. This small dome is not about perfection. It is about shelter, trust, and the quiet optimism of new life. And as the seedlings settle into their rhythm, the garden invites you onward, toward a place where structure and beauty meet, rising gently into the air. Four, Blooming Bottle Vine Arch. Imagine approaching a part of the garden where the air feels lighter, as if the space itself is inviting you to slow down. Ahead, an arch rises gently, marking a quiet transition between one corner and the next. It is not grand or imposing, yet it holds a presence that draws you forward. This arch is shaped from simple materials, wrapped in climbing vines that stretch patiently toward the sun. Among the leaves, small blossoms appear, petals formed from the bottoms of recycled bottles, cut and curved by hand. They catch the light differently than real flowers, holding it briefly before letting it pass through. Side by side with living vines, they create a conversation between what grows and what is made. As you step beneath the arch, the world feels momentarily framed. Leaves brush softly overhead, shadows shift across the path, and the sound of the garden seems to deepen. There is comfort in this threshold, a sense that movement through space can also be movement through feeling. These bottle flowers do not compete with nature. They quietly accompany it, celebrating the beauty of reuse and the grace of small efforts repeated over time. What was once discarded now welcomes every step with gentleness. And as you pass through, the path opens once more, leading toward a place where light lingers longer, and the garden begins to glow as evening approaches. 5. Glow cap bottle hanging lights. Imagine the moment when the garden exhales for the day. The sun has lowered itself beyond the rooftops, and the air grows quiet, as if waiting. Above a small bench, gentle lights begin to glow, soft, warm, and unassuming. These lights are shaped from recycled bottle caps, suspended lightly among branches and leaves. Each one holds a small pool of warmth, casting a glow that settles rather than shines. Shadows stretch slowly across the ground, brushing over petals and wood, forming patterns that shift with every breeze. This is not a place meant for activity. It is a place for pause. For sitting without purpose, for listening to the evening sounds, for letting thoughts soften. The light does not demand attention. It simply keeps you company. There is something comforting in knowing that what once sealed a bottle now holds light. That the smallest pieces, often overlooked, can become sources of calm. These hanging lamps remind us that beauty does not need to dominate a space. Sometimes, it only needs to hover quietly above it. As the glow settles into the garden, the world feels closer, slower, more personal. And beyond this softly lit corner, the path continues, leading toward spaces shaped by repetition, rhythm, and the quiet order of the earth itself. Six. Modular square bottle planter. Imagine a quiet corner of the patio where order brings a sense of calm. The ground is solid beneath your feet, the air carries the clean scent of herbs, and everything feels gently arranged, as if the space has found its balance. Here, bottles come together to form a square, simple, deliberate, and surprisingly elegant. Each curved surface locks into the next, creating a structure that feels steady and intentional. Inside, herbs rise slowly from the soil. Mint releases a cool fragrance, basil stretches its leaves toward the light, and parsley fills the edges with soft green texture. There is a peaceful logic to this planter. Nothing spills beyond its place, yet nothing feels constrained. The geometry offers clarity, while the plants bring life. Sunlight glides across the bottle walls, catching small reflections that move as the day progresses, reminding us that even rigid shapes can host softness. What was once scattered and disposable now stands together, forming a vessel for nourishment. This planter does not hide its origin. Instead, it celebrates how simple repetition can become beauty, how intention can transform the ordinary into something quietly refined. As your eyes move beyond this ordered square, the garden shifts once more, toward edges that curve and repeat, marking the land with gentle rhythm and care. Seven. Rounded bottle border guardians. Imagine walking slowly along the edge of a garden bed, where the soil meets the lawn and the landscape begins to organize itself. Here, a quiet line forms, smooth, steady, and unassuming. A row of rounded shapes rises gently from the earth, marking a boundary without breaking the flow of the garden. These borders are made from inverted bottles, filled and anchored with care. Their curved bases catch the sunlight like small river stones, polished not by water, but by patience. Lavender leans forward from behind them, releasing a soft fragrance that drifts across the grass, while low ground cover weaves between shadows and light. There is comfort in repetition. Curve after curve, placed with intention, creates a rhythm that calms the eye and steadies the space. This border does not ask to be noticed. It simply does its work, holding the soil, guiding the path, and bringing quiet order to the land. What was once thrown away now stands as a gentle guardian, shaping the garden with humility. Strength here is not loud or rigid. It is rounded, forgiving, and deeply human. As the border curves away, leading your gaze along the bed, the garden hints at what comes next, a path that invites movement, step by step, grounded and steady beneath your feet. Eight, bottle stepping brick garden path. Imagine a path that does not rush you. A path that invites each step to be taken with intention. Here, the ground rises and falls gently, and beneath your feet, the garden offers a steady rhythm, one step, then another. These stepping bricks are shaped from recycled bottles, filled and grounded with care. Their rounded forms rest quietly in the soil, softened by time, moss, and the slow touch of grass along the edges. Each surface carries the texture of effort, imperfect and honest, catching the light in muted tones of earth and stone. As you walk, the path guides without commanding. It allows space between steps, moments to pause, to notice the way wildflowers lean inward, or how the air changes with each turn. The sound of gravel and soil underfoot blends with birdsong, creating a gentle cadence that feels both familiar and grounding. There is something reassuring about this simplicity. Progress made not through grand gestures, but through small, reliable pieces placed with care. What once held something temporary now supports movement, direction, and return. The path does more than connect places, it connects moments. And as it leads you forward, it gently points the way toward something rising just ahead, where height and playfulness begin to shape the garden once more. Nine, tiered bottle pedestal planter tower. Imagine a corner of the garden where the eye is drawn upward, following a gentle rise of color and form. Here, plants do not spread outward. They climb, lifted one level at a time, forming a quiet celebration of height and balance. This planter tower is built from recycled bottles, stacked carefully into tiers that support one another. Each level holds a small pocket of soil, and from it, flowers begin to spill. Petals soften the edges, vines trail downward, and the structure feels less like an object and more like a living column shaped by patience. There is joy in its imperfection. Brush strokes remain visible, surfaces do not align perfectly, and that honesty gives the tower warmth. It does not try to disappear into the garden. Instead, it stands confidently, playful yet grounded, offering a new perspective within a small space. Sunlight moves across the tiers throughout the day, creating shifting highlights and shadows that bring the structure to life. What once lay scattered now rises together, transformed through repetition and care. This tower reminds us that beauty does not always expand outward. Sometimes, it grows upward, layer by layer, guided by intention rather than scale. And as your gaze returns to the ground, the garden reveals its final structure ahead, where strength meets simplicity, anchoring everything gently in place. Ten, concrete bottle fence post anchors. Imagine standing at the edge of the garden, where open space meets structure, and softness gives way to quiet strength. Here, the ground holds firm, and the garden finds its boundary, not as a barrier, but as a gentle line of support. These fence anchors are formed from recycled bottles, filled with concrete and set carefully into the earth. Once light and fragile, they now carry weight with dignity. Wooden posts rise from them steadily, held in place by something that was never meant to be strong, yet has become so through intention. Vines begin their slow climb along the posts, weaving life into structure. Leaves soften the edges, flowers drift closer, and soon the fence feels less like a division and more like part of the landscape itself. The bottles remain visible, rounded forms peeking from the soil, quietly reminding us of what they once were. There is humility in this design. No excess, no disguise. Just a clear understanding that strength does not require perfection or expensive materials. It requires patience, balance, and the willingness to see value where others see waste. This final structure grounds the entire garden. It holds space, protects growth, and completes the journey we've taken, from light and play, to nurture, to movement, and finally to stability. And as the garden settles into stillness, it leaves us with a simple truth. When care shapes what we build, even the most ordinary things can hold the world steady. Before we part, I'd love to know, which garden idea stayed with you the most today? Was it the glowing path, the fairy houses, the nursery dome? Or something quieter that simply felt right? Leave your favorite in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. I'm slowly mapping our backyard fortune family around the world. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Take care of your plants. Take care of your people. And I'll see you in the next garden story.